The Divine Independent School District is located 32 miles south of San Antonio, Texas, in the southeastern tip of Medina County, and encompasses the city of Divine, which includes 192 square miles and an estimated population of 4,350 people. Divine ISD is the largest employer in the city of Divine. An elective board of 7 trustees governs the district. Divine ISD serves approximately 1,900 students on our 4 campuses. Our district includes 1 elementary campus, grades pre-K through 2, 1 intermediate campus, grades 3 through 5, 1 middle school campus, grades 6 through 8, and 1 high school campus, grades 9 through 12. Additionally, Divine ISD provides alternative education program services to our own alternative education programming. The student ethnic makeup is approximately 66% Hispanic, 30% white, and less than 1% Asian, Pacific Islander, African American, or 2 or more races. Socioeconomically, the district has about 63% of our students considered economically disadvantaged. 6% of our students are emergent bilingual, and about 16% of our students are receiving special education services. Currently, Divine ISD has 133 teachers on staff. 58% of our teachers have at least 11 years of experience, and the average number of years experience in our district is around 14 and a half years. 60% of our teachers are white, 39% are Hispanic, and 1% are African American. Divine ISD has a long and proud tradition in both UIL athletics and academics. However, our geographical location and proximity to the nearest major city restricts opportunities for many residents and our school children, as well as limits business infrastructure, thus reducing our tax base and limiting education and employment opportunities. For this field experience activity, I chose to lead a District Education Improvement Committee meeting. I chose this experience because this was a great opportunity to interact with many of the stakeholders of our district, from parents all the way up to our superintendent. The agenda for this particular meeting was very full, and I wanted the opportunity to help the committee get a recommendation to our school board for their upcoming board meeting, specifically for approval of our 24-25 academic calendar for the next school year. I used a pre-planned agenda to help me with time management and keep the committee moving forward. I wanted to make sure that I honored everyone's time and that we stayed on track. The agenda also made sure that we only discussed identified topics in the agenda. The following segment is the edited version of that District Education Improvement Committee meeting.
Okay. All right, so the purpose of today's meeting is a monthly DIC meeting. Do I get a motion to open the meeting?
I know we open the meeting.
So, first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of last meeting. So I need a motion for that.
I motion to approve the meeting minutes from last DDIC meeting on 10.
Second. Good, second. All right. The second item on the agenda today is campus and district reports. So we'll hear from the campus designees. So you want to start with Shavar Elementary? Nope.
I'll go.
We'll go to Divine Intermediate.
Divine Intermediate's campus report. We have completed our middle of the year iReady diagnostic screener. All students are showing growth, with some that are still either maybe one step below grade level, but we're working on it. We're right in the middle of it, and we're doing great. We've also completed our Scholastic Book Fair at our campus, so it was highly successful, heavily attended for the parent night on that Wednesday night. Was it Wednesday? Thursday?
Yeah.
We also completed Education Go Get It Week, where we focused on college, career, military readiness. So we did have a do-over of our career dress-up day, but it was successful as well. We also just yesterday completed the STAR RLA field test that we were tapped for 3rd and 4th grade. So our 3rd and 4th graders took a practice STAR test so that the state could test the validity of their questions. All was well for STAR testing. Ongoing, we're still practicing on the online STAR testing platform to continue practicing before upcoming STAR in April. Some upcoming events on our campus. PTO is having a Valentine's dance. Our 100th day of school is tomorrow. Our Valentine's Day class parties are this week. We also are fundraising for the Hoops for Hearts event from the American Hearts Association, Kids Heart Challenge. We have class pictures coming up, and we are also almost to the end of the 4th 6 weeks.
All right, great, thank you. All right, Divine High School.
All right, us FCCLA students are advancing to the state competition. UIL is competing, CX debate has advanced to the state competition. Softball, baseball, powerlifting, golf are underway. The Arabians won another district championship last night and look forward to another deep run in the playoffs. The Wars basketball team is in the playoff hunt. They need to win Tuesday and Friday to make it. The senior events calendar is almost complete. There was a HAZMAT test and a blood drive this week. Student of the month is at the end of the month, the 22nd, and senior panoramic pictures are the 27th this month.
All right, thank you. All right, so we'll move on to the district reports. So Mrs. Abby Beadle is our curriculum instruction and federal program.
Alright, so I'll share a little bit. I'll go federal programs first. Our ESSER annual reporting is getting wrapped up. Ms. Ramirez and I work on that a little bit together. She sends me some really great reports, and then the ESSER, the federal people wanna know, well, how is it if we break it down by these, like 10 categories? Okay, now these 10 other categories, break it down this way and resort all the information. So that reporting is a big hassle, but we're getting that done and just have final touches on that.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Ramirez with finance.
Some money. Budget meetings have started in February. What we asked back in December, we asked your department heads and your principals to meet with your staff and come up with a budget for 24-25. During February, they meet with Dr. Grangine and I say bring Santa's wish list. Tell us all your wants and needs, from facilities to staffing to supplies and such. And we have a really good head-to-head meeting, and the first budget run has everybody's wish list in it, and it's all presented to the board. And all I did today was pull TASB's comparison to like-sized districts and looking at their salaries and their staffing and things like that. Good news on the property value. They came out on the 31st, and our property values from the county were valid this year. That is huge. It's a big deal. The last couple of years, they haven't been, and we've lost millions, 1.6 million last year. What this means is the county does your property values. You get your property value statement in the mail. That's what we based our budget off of. That's what we send to the tax office to collect our taxes on. But the state does their own property value study. And if they're not within a certain degree of margin, then they say, oh, too bad, we're gonna assign you state. And there's no going back on the budget, there's no going back to the tax office saying, oh, you messed up. So you lose that in between, that gap in between. But that's behind us now. We're very thankful that that's over and that we met values. Next Wednesday on Valentine's Day is going to be very special because we get all of our proposals in for the bond projects. So we're very excited to get that going. And that's it.
So when the principals show up, you have a naughty and nice tent?
Yes, I know.
All right, and last we have Dr. Grangine, superintendent report.
All right, some of you may keep up with this, maybe have other things that you want to focus on other than the accountability ratings, but the governor still hasn't released accountability ratings because of a lawsuit that's pending. They've got an injunction against the current accountability for our 2023 school year. After the bond and our VATRE passed, we're currently working on the funding. We got the bonds funded. It's in the bank.
Next week.
Okay. And what we'll do is we'll put that into an investment fund that school districts use, that there's really no risk. It's called tangible. Shannon mentioned the architect construction teams will submit their proposals to us on Valentine's Day. We'll go through and probably pick at least 3 or 4 or 5 people turn theirs in. We'll use them all. And we'll interview those teams. You can't interview based on price. You interview based on qualifications. So what those we'll call those RFQs. The board is currently working on funding and salaries and the way the salary structures is met. Some teachers have been at the board meetings. Ms. Shelton's has been to several or all of them. So they're trying to look to see if the teacher step scale is the best way or the most efficient way for paying teachers or to go to some other system or increase our current teachers' step scale. The holdup, I know everybody's concerned saying, hey, you got the DATRE passed, why are raises not being affected? It's a big boat that moves slow. It doesn't turn on a dime. And one of the things that the board is having to take into consideration is what's happening at the Capitol. They said there's over $6 billion still held hostage by the governor because of this voucher battle that he's having with the House and it's holding out. State law requires that public school students be screened and tested for dyslexia no later than January 31st. Well, that's already passed, but Mrs. Hagborn has stepped in, is doing a great job, picked up where Mrs. Dykstra left off. We are, if you're not aware, we hold a seat on the TEACS Resource Board of Directors, and so this is very promising for us, especially now that this is our curriculum framework, and it provides us a place at the table, at the state level, to be able to help develop the curriculum that we use. So when your instructional specialists come and visit with them, or you talk to Ms. Beal, if there's things that you see in TEACS Resource that you're like, hey, what's up with this, or why is this way? There's a representative from every service center. There's 20, and we represent Region 20 at this board of directors situation. So if we see something that we could change, improve, or take a different direction, we have a good point of contact. We do principal check-ins. We started those in October. Basically, it's not really an evaluation like a teacher would get. They get to come to my office, we shut the door for 30 minutes, and we either scream, yell, or cry, or whatever we want to do with each other. It gives them kind of a safe space to have an informal conversation about things that they are worried about. So if there's something that you need to get into my office with, talk to them. If it's about them, you probably want to talk to them about it. And last but not least, within the last 2 weeks, I have not realized how much I love running water.
Oh, man.
If nobody's aware, we have 6 porta potties. We actually have 1 day left. And then we have our 2 bad weather days. I think that's the way Dawn and I broke it down. We really don't want to get into that. So what we're trying to do, we have the porta potties at each campus. Older kiddos will be fine. I think Ms. Cross may be able to comment. Did you guys have we did an experiment?
I have two very special friends that were not given pink Starburst at all for further participation. And we did a little test run, not with anything, just sitting and standing and trying to get up, and they passed. They would be on the average to small size of kindergartners, which those were our main concerns. We've also considered it to be a life skill for their future trips to outdoor concerts. Is that
And the Divine Fall Festival.
And so with our pre-K, our 3s and 4s, one thing that Dr. Granson and I discussed was with them, they are the farthest away from where our porta potties are, as well as our littlest, smallest, slowest people. That may be a force flush situation and some type of schedule set up with that, but I feel much better after our.
Was there some kind of training video filmed?
Yes, but I'm still waiting for the parents to sign off. But the children left with all smiles, they were happy.
So we have somewhere between 30 and 35 of the water coolers that you've seen in the hallways. The biggest plan was to take care of not being able to drink the water, not the water not running, period. You know, because our food service can function. Every other operation that we have is perfect except the sanitary conditions of the restrooms. So if you want to see something cool during the day, go to transportation, and there's 350 5-gallon water bottles in containers, but they carry them in a cube. It reminds me of when you go to the grocery store or convenience store and you get those propane bottles, how they have the thing that opens up.
Yeah.
That's what those water bottles come in. I mean, it's this tall and AP wide. So we're having the principals keep track of how many water bottles we're going through every week, making adjustments there. We just get the word out. We have some communication that we're working on. If we have another line break, we're gonna try to push through and we'll adjust. If it turns into a circus, then, I mean, the plan is only as good as the city plan doesn't work anymore, so it's where we're headed. Because I know nobody wants to miss Good Friday and other days that we have off, so it's we're not gonna put anybody in danger or put them at risk of a health issue, but that was our biggest concern, was that we were gonna have one kindergartner go in and then come out with like a swerve. We had to- So we didn't wanna go through that. That's all I have.
Thank you. And kudos to them, because the water drinking plan came out, it was quick and effective, and how quickly did y'all order those water?
In 2 hours.
2 hours.
Here within 24
Yeah,
hours.
so we were all set on the drinking part, we didn't anticipate the restroom part.
Yeah, that's
If you run across Corinne, she was the heart of that operation.
Yes, maybe buy her something different than water.
Here's a bottle of water. All right, number 3 on the agenda, this is probably where we need to take some action. So we have to review the feedback from the campuses regarding the 2024-2025 calendar draft. So I'll open up for discussion regarding the drafted calendar draft A. If anybody wants to talk about that.
The intermediate campus had, their DEIC reps take the draft back to their grade levels and look at it, discuss it. There was another draft that was created and also shared on our campus, but it kind of stayed there. So our campus unanimously voted to accept calendar draft A as the instructional calendar for 24-25. But we did also mention that depending on what discussion was happening here today, that could be that we would have to take it back and talk about it again. But as far as the discussion on our campus, calendar draft A for intermediate.
For middle school, or for elementary, it was calendar draft A.
Calendar draft A.
Nothing else came forward and everyone was, replied back that it was a go.
High school, middle school, community.
We, actually, we did not discuss it much. I was not at the last meeting and, didn't know this was a discussion item, so, we will discuss it. I mean, when are we planning on voting on this?
Today, we gotta get it
Today.
to the board,
Or
for
any other middle school
approval.
representation here? Well, then it's me. Okay.
And did everybody like last year's calendar?
It's very similar to last year's
Yeah,
calendar.
and that's probably why.
Or this year's calendar, sorry.
It's exactly this.
Yeah, the dates are a little different, but it's.
Yeah, that's probably why. We didn't hear much.
High school?
Eight's fine.
It wasn't really discussed. It really wasn't discussed much, but it was very similar, and there weren't many options for us anyway, when we were on that last time, so, again,
It's almost like everybody but the finance department seemed like they were talking really good about. I don't know, like we love coming back later in January.
Finance didn't love it?
Well, because they have to.
It's hard for
It's-
finance.
it's-
like,
Biz
Payrolls and stuff.
tax, Sam wants his reports, and payroll has to be done by the 5th to TRS, for y'all's lovely retirement. We
But she did say,
don't wanna miss
she
that
did say in the
meeting.
admin meeting that I have no effects in April, so
Yeah,
we'll take the hit.
we'll suck it up.
So eight's fine.
So I move to accept 2024-2025 instructional calendar draft A as the calendar for next school year.
I second.
Was there only one draft day?
Yes.
There's
Yes.
only
I
one
mean,
draft,
only one draft?
and I did
There was
ask specifically in DEIC last time, is there a motion for another calendar draft, and they did not ask.
Okay.
And we took back to our campus to, I gave out, I passed out blank copies, and I know Ms. Tolson had blank copies here in order if you wanted to try to create another draft for us to vote on, but nothing was created.
And we did, we had one that was created, but the campus didn't go for that one. So they stuck with A. So I
Okay.
think there was a motion and a second.
Motion is second. So DIC will recommend calendar draft A.
There's a motion second, I think that one's a vote. So
Don't you have to
motion
vote on it?
second-
Oh, yeah, let's vote on it, sorry.
Motion is second discussion, we're good, and then vote.
All right, all in favor, raise your hand.
Who is the second?
All right, looks like it's unanimous.
I don't remember there being many options because of how things are falling, and I think that was why, right?
Well, I think the big discussion last year was getting more days off for the teachers in each month. And this, I mean, it kind of looks like that's, looks good. As much much as possible.
Okay, so we're good, the academic calendar?
Yes.
Knocked up, all right. All right, this, next one, we'll just do it real quick. I think I'll put about 7-8 minutes on timer, but if you wanna group up, so we have 5 board goals that need to be reviewed for progress for the middle of the year. And so they're interactive, so if you click on the board goal, there's just a, so you'll see a section where it's highlighted in yellow, down here at the bottom. Is it on? Okay. And you just have to, you review that goal with your team and decide if that we've made progress, no progress, or if it's complete. And so we'll just do that. So if you guys see a goal that you're interested in reviewing, and at the same time, that second, where it says where B's at, if you match up to the one that you're doing, if you have any recommendations or any anything that you want to add to that goal or that we need to review or recommend, you can include it in there. Did you want to add anything to that?
The only thing is, of course, I've got some printed copies if y'all wanted to group up around those so you know what board goal you're doing.
Okay, so board goal 1, if you want to look at that, parent and family engagement, I believe.
Can go back to it.
1, like 2, 3, 4, and 5. I mean, you can move around and you can find one. I just put like 7 minutes and.
School climate, discipline, environment. What that is.
And like I said, do simultaneous, pull this one up and that one up, so you can do your.
Involving stakeholders. Campuses will maintain a safe, healthy, and disciplined environment. Very trying times this year. Coach Sanchez bringing new staff in and stuff like that. So we have, I actually think we've kind of taken a step back. I mean, I think it's just like not together. We brought them closer together and it was great. But team and I don't think that, I know at our campus, I don't think we've done a good job of maintaining the camaraderie. So, and I'm talking about, you know, social events, just different things. I mean, because I think it's so busy. And I mean, I go home and I fall asleep in my chair because I'm just so mentally exhausted. So I think, you know, I don't know that we've done enough to progress. So I'm gonna say that that's no progress.
They do like an electronic, through talent ed or whatever. There's no.
Yeah.
Hey, but they're pretty honest. They're pretty honest in the online.
Have we maintained that?
Yes. Yes. I mean, at the campus level, for sure.
Several new teachers, and I think we did a good job of getting these people on and accepting them and accepting us and everything's
Right. So they get the, when they go to sign or
scanning the
then they'll
room.
get
I can't think of
a.
anybody that's ever had an hour in their situation.
So they'll get something
What
pulled
we
out.
do,
You can always
can we do more? We were gonna have a luncheon on the day that first Monday, the school got canceled, or work got canceled. I think it was just teachers, and we were supposed to have a luncheon. Well, that fell apart. And then so we were like, we don't even progress. All right, continue to implement the BISD Guardian program and continuous guard. Okay, that's another one. There's no progress. Complete. It's not complete then. We skipped a year. Yeah. skipped it. Because we didn't do it last year. Not when I applied to. Okay, well, so.
So we're the ones who are doing it. We're supposed to be running.
I'm doing it here.
Yeah, all the campuses are done.
Well, it's continuous, so yes, it's continuous, but to me, that's no progress. And we're still doing it, but you're saying that complete means that we are still, so that would be the first one too. The first one would be complete, I mean, no, I think that's.
He said he was probably a big drop off, especially if it's being implemented.
But what I'm hearing from you is that I'm going to add that strategy for
So on this document, I saw that there's this document here, and on this one, do you want us to put?
So what do you want to write down?
NP?
Well, I'm gonna complete.
And then the other one, that's just, you wanna,
No, I'm
wording issues or recommendations or something that
That's it? Okay, so this isn't May.
We haven't done,
This is December,
we haven't done much different.
right, because it
Um,
says December.
yeah,
Okay.
December.
The next one is increased number of available substitute teachers in the district by continuing to offer sub-orientation throughout the year.
That's if you want to
And increase substitute teacher compensation rates as possible in order to avoid disruptions to the learning environment
So
and
we need
teachers.
to recommend.
I mean, that's gotta be still.
So we gotta add a little bit more time?
NP, yes, please.
Ensure.
Also, at the end, I'm gonna ask everybody for an area of strength and weakness within the category.
We updated the policy.
I think they'll be that.
Boy, that's something I did not know. I mean, we have the same substitutes we've had every year, so I didn't know we, okay, so what is that? Complete. Okay, there's progress there. Okay, well, I can agree to that. I can
So
agree to
that,
that.
the instructional leadership, the T-test.
Yeah, 1 through 5.
At primary, Title I Part A school-wide campuses where funds are combined to upgrade education for all students. That's Chivera and in the intermediate school.
So I think.
Use SCE Title I funded aids to teach in classrooms that would be without a teacher otherwise due to any sub shortages
I don't see.
in order to avoid disruptions. Okay, so we're just saying that we're using federal money to provide aids.
So we want to recommend.
I'm not saying it's great.
Okay, so that's progress.
We recommend that we revisit, bringing back.
6
Well,
is
it'll be complete. Yes.
7 is no further.
Number 41, utilize school messenger as the primary point from which a parent should be able to receive all important messages. Also utilize teacher to parent communication systems to disseminate extremely important. I think it's more, there's a app out there where you can combine all of those different programs and put it into one app and send this to everybody. Okay, so we have ventured into that because I know Candy has it on Facebook and do it, and she's here to do it. That utilizes everything with one click of the button. And I'm gonna say on that one, that would be not completed, so it's.
Sorry?
Any more progress?
I think first thing was parent orientation, not every teacher was. Yeah, utilizing their mind as much, and I was.
Alright, sorry.
You know, so.
Alright, let's start to bring it back.
Theater arts and stuff like that, we always get stuff from that, of course.
That's certain teachers, I guess, probably utilize
Certain
something.
teachers, but.
And that's gonna be true with something like this too.
But now, you know, from this outlook, we get things like, remember, there's like student housing.
Alright, give me about 1 more minute. At 4:45, we'll pick up the conversation.
Yeah, this is more, this is more of a, yeah, this is more of a
That was about
This is more of a campus.
Campus like park.
Yeah.
So it's probably they go over to our campus, they go over their
Yeah.
little.
I would say if parents and students don't multiple places to find stuff, that's hard.
Well, I think it's not for the parent to go to multiple places. It's just that for us to send the message out to multiple places at the same time, so that if you're on Facebook, if you're not on Facebook, you know, if you get a phone call, you know, you'll get it several different ways. That way we ensure that we've done everything possible to get the message. And I think last week, I think Katie, I don't know, Todd Paul said something for the school shutdown.
Okay, let's come back together. We're gonna go around to each group, and I'm gonna ask for an area of strength and an area of weakness within that particular board goal. So, we'll start, you guys, board goal number 1.
Yes, we had board goal number 1, parent-family engagement. And so our, GLOW is going to be, okay, we'll start with GROW, sorry. So one of our objectives or identified strengths was that we offered, the resource of clothing on campuses, provided access to donated school clothing. We don't do that anymore. So that is something that we feel like we need to go back to, since we had recommended that it was to be done, and maybe grow that again. And I think that happened when we lost the space. So parent place closed, and so we lost the ability to have that closed closet. So,
Y'all don't have one on your campus, is that what you're saying?
no, we do have some, items that have been donated to the
Very
nurse's
minimal.
office at times, but not a dedicated space like we used to.
Yeah, cause
And
we
it
have
all
a
is
whole,
logistics
we have
for
a
us.
room.
Yeah, I know you guys,
Yeah.
we used to, but logistics wise, we don't have that anymore, so at least for this campus, do you guys have the same, right? Yeah, I thought so.
We have some, but then
We have
when
a
they go
little,
home,
small.
Right,
they don't ever come back, and so you kind of
because
just.
we
rely
both
on what you have.
utilized the parent place, and now that that's no
Yeah.
longer, we just need a, that's gonna be a grow for us. We also, one of our identified strengths was that we were offering Wi-Fi hotspot access for families. I think that goes back to the COVID pandemic, so we're recommending that we remove that one. And then our GLOW is that we have started, inviting and including parents back onto the campuses post-pandemic in order to make them feel more welcome and included. So we've been, having those family nights like math and science nights, or, book fair family nights, recognition programs like Veterans Day, also our, breakfast with the Broncos. So we are glowing with having people come back to the campus, even for, class parties. So people are excited to come back. And then to piggyback off of that, we also developed, or not developed, we, provided access for a mobile Raptor system, which we hadn't used in the past, so it gives easier access for parents when we have to, have one point of interest, or one point of entrance, into those events, like in our gym. Now we have our mobile Raptor system, so that's a GLOW for this board goal as well.
Awesome, thank you. Board goal 2, student achievement.
We have almost, progress of everything. We do have a complete, sorry, I lost it. Technology, it is, every student, at our campus has their own Google Chromebook, so they have access to their own Google Chromebook, so we have that as a complete, become a one-to-one student to technological, I can't even speak, device district, starting with Divine High School. I don't know about high school, but, at our age and at our campus, every child has their Chromebook, so.
Yeah.
We put complete on that. Everything else is in progress.
Board goal 3, where's 3? Do we working on 3? 4?
Alright, so out of the 15, 1 is complete, conduct an exit interview when teachers resign or retire. 2, where no progress, promote student teaching participation in the schools, establish at least one relationship with a local college, provide incentives and or reimbursement for staff who demonstrate excellence in delivering instruction and or further their education. That's not a no progress, that's a progress, because the TIA
That's
is
the
on
new
this
one.
one. Yeah.
And then number 5 for school climate and discipline environment.
Yeah, we had a no progress with the teacher appreciation and community building opportunities, and we put no progress, which probably could be complete, but we felt like after last year's, on our campus anyway, last year's tragedy that we had, and a lot of things that we really set the bar a lot higher, and so we're trying to get back to where we can keep the morale, you know, a little bit higher, and so we're that's an in progress kind of deal. We are complete was the Guardian programs, continuous Guardian training. Progress has been made for evidently for substitute teachers because there's a new policy or something I didn't know about, so I guess we made progress on that one. We're also complete on Title I funding for aides that can come in and possibly even fill a substitute role. So that strategy is completed. We did have a recommendation on utilizing the school messenger as the primary point. We had a recommendation to say that possibly if school messenger allows, or if any other type of app or program would allow, to be able to send, you know, to hit one button and to send it to multiple resources such as Facebook, Twitter, phone call, everything. Just if like the principal's gonna send something out, to do it one time and it goes to everything. So that way you're covering your bases on every kind of communication that parents may be utilizing, email, etc. So that was a no progress. And then that's as far as we got.
Can I comment on just one of those? Okay, so the Title I state comp ed funding for aides to sub, just so everybody knows, we had to put that into the plan to be able to do it at all. So we were given permission by TEA that if a classroom is not gonna have a teacher, and say you might have a kindergarten class where there's not a teacher for that day, we have permission from TEA to pull a Title I or state comp ed funded aide out of their daily schedule, which is how we charge them to their funding sources. And actually put them in that classroom so that those students don't get split and go into other classrooms. And we are able to do that to maintain instructional continuity. It is a last resort though. The reason that strategy is in the plan is because we can't do it if there's not a strategy in the plan, if that makes sense, but it's not something that we do as a primary.
Isn't that what all of our aides are paid that way, aren't they?
All of our aides are paid out of either state comp ed or Title I. I shouldn't say that, that's not true. Actually, there are aides that are funded from local or special ed or some of those. This pertains the very most at C of R Elementary because all of their grade level aides are paid from these funding sources. And we needed, before splitting classes, we needed to be able to pull an aide who was an extra hand on deck. We needed to be able to pull them out of their master schedule or out of their schedule and put them in a classroom. And so actually Divine ISD during COVID was the district that asked the question that made the TEA Q&A that says, yes, you can do this because instructional continuity is more important than anything else. And so that's not necessarily true anywhere else. It has to do with the fact that it's a state comp ed or title funded aid at a Title I Part A school-wide campus. So you can't be pulling a state comp ed funded aid at secondary because it's not a Title I Part A school-wide campus. Does that help a little bit? Anyway, I just want to share that just because that one is one that might get everybody going, wait, what? What's going on with that?
And I'll address the school messenger does have the capability to email, text, and voice message at the same time with one message, but it's not integrated with social media. So that's now when, like on our campus, when I send out a school messenger, our Facebook admin copy and paste it like immediately. So it's part of the process, but it's not integrated automatically. All right. Okay, sounds good. So Justin's not here for agenda item number 5. So I don't know what you want to talk about.
He did send me something to say, but we can also table it till next time, where you guys are.
Yeah, we'll table it.
Answer questions about that.
So is there a motion to table that for next meeting?
I motion to table number 5, instructional materials allotment, for next meeting.
Second. Vote? Do we need to vote on that?
No.
All right. Okay. And then, so the agenda number 6, this is, so it's not on the agenda to talk about, but there are some updates in the 4-day week interactive folder that you may want to review. There is information from a Zoom call that was on there, with a lot of information from another district that has a 4-day week.
The Athens one?
The Athens, yeah. Oh, there it is.
And our parent rep, Tiffany Robertson, took those notes.
And then, so I think DEIC had asked for an update, a PDF update, regarding the poll that was sent out, the roles and how they responded, so that's in there as well. And Dr. Calloway, right, put his information from his district, a folder in there?
Dr. Galloway, yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's right here, right?
Yes, sir. And can I say one thing that's
Sure.
interesting to note, in the Del Cab ISD, whenever they moved to a 4-day week, it was a very top-down kind of move. The superintendent was all eggs in that basket, wanted to do it. And so you'll notice that it looks a little bit different from our process because our superintendent is open-minded about it, but is not pushing it the way that at that district it was very top-down. It's actually, at Divine ISD, this is something that DEIC has wanted to research, and that the board and the superintendent have been very open-minded in wanting to hear the research, right? So it's a little bit different when you look at theirs. Good information.
So you have that for review, and so number 7 is all the future meetings, so the agendas, the 4-day week is not on the agenda for any of those meetings, those discussions, and the DIC agenda is pretty tight from what I'm hearing. So you gotta keep that in mind if you wanna get it on the agenda, the discussion, or have those meetings, with a 4-day week committee or something, so. But they're not on for the next 2. Okay? Questions?
Do you think
So
we need
do
to
we
put
need
it
to,
on?
yeah, do we
I
need
mean,
to
don't we need to discuss it,
discuss
move forward, and
if we're going to have these separate meetings? That's what we need to do. So the committees are behind that screen. So are we going to say that each of those committees are meeting separately with their own people? Or are we gonna have like a working meeting where we come and everybody gets into groups?
I think we need one of those.
Apparently I don't know how to operate this, so.
Probably Nancy, right?
We have to operate that before we can have a 4-day week.
I started teaching after those.
We're gonna need 6 days weeks if we can.
Oh,
There
yeah.
it is.
Should have had you come up in this one and get that to you.
4 days to go, don't worry about it.
So, is there a 4-day week committee?
These are the subcommittees that are just, that we are using.
Oh,
to-
all of the 4 days, okay,
Yes.
wow.
So each of those
There are
committees.
subcommittees.
And then we had a couple of us who were floaters.
Yeah. So are we going to decide to have like a separate meeting just
I think it needs to be a separate meeting.
so a separate meeting that's not part of the DEIC where we come and we all get into our little subcategories? Or you
Let's-
meet with your
Let's
subcategory on your own?
have
And then-
assignments and let us go do research and do stuff,
Yeah,
and then come back ready to share
Discuss
out,
as a full.
discuss.
sounds good to me. So I make a motion for each subcommittee to plan a meeting on their own, to do their research or discuss their research. That's the first thing, and then I guess it would be a second motion to come back and meet together, or can it all be part of one?
And I'll do one.
Okay, and then to come back as a group to share what the subcommittees talked about,
Outside of the normal DEIC meeting?
outside of the normal DEIC.
How much time do y'all want? What Wednesday can we
Yeah,
do?
That could be part of the regular DEIC meeting,
It's,
when we come back and present.
it'll need
I
to
don't
be a
know.
scheduled meeting though. Our agenda for the meetings as scheduled for the year, our agendas are already full. So then, if we wanna have some extra meetings for 4-day week,
it's like that meeting that we had here, that was separate.
right, it was its own meeting.
It was its own meeting.
It's still a DEIC meeting.
Is the 21st of February, is that not enough time?
That's in 2 weeks.
I mean, it is for my.
So is there someone that's running these subcommittees and then contact everybody?
What's that?
Is there somebody in charge of each of these subcommittees that contacts the
No,
people on
we're
there?
in charge of
Not
that.
really, it's
I mean, I can send out an
So
email
who's
to
gonna coordinate?
all of those
Yeah,
student
because
people
none of those
tomorrow
people are here, right?
and plan a day.
I mean,
I can take on coordinating for accountability.
Okay.
She's the best coordinator in that group.
So like the community impact, there's nobody here from that one. Well,
I'm here for share.
We have a new representative here.
You wouldn't let me have them.
Well, let him know that he's gonna coordinate
There's no
getting these people.
Maybe
I'll
an
coordinate.
email.
I feel like somebody.
I'll coordinate for schedules.
That's because Todd's in there too.
Okay.
No coordination.
Sounds good.
All right, so there was a motion to have, an added meeting in lieu, or in addition to a DEIC meeting.
So-
Is the 28th of February not enough time?
So,
I think that would be good.
That's better,
So-
that's 3 weeks.
So if we're trying to work back, where are we trying to work backwards from? Like what date?
February 28th, is that?
So the 28th is when all the subcommittees come together and present their information.
Yes.
Okay, and that's gonna be enough time for you guys to coordinate and meet, and do your homework. Yes? So
you
Yes.
read the motion for each subcommittee to meet and plan on their own, to discuss and complete their research. Motion to schedule a DEIC meeting devoted to relaying results on February 28th from Lysander Reyes.
Yes.
Second.
Do we have a second?
And then Farrah Schilling will coordinate for what?
Accountability.
Accountability.
Nobody else has said for the other, so I don't know if it is.
Who's gonna do?
You've already-
Eads
I
is
don't
doing
know what
Which one are you on?
calendar.
For sure, yes, I'll be for sure.
Okay, she's gonna coordinate for
So
community
you're
impact.
gonna contact these people for community impacts and tell them that they, you guys have to
Shelton.
I don't know these
research.
people though.
Shelton is,
Okay, so-
schedules and calendar.
No, it's Eads.
Oh, Eads, sorry. Who's doing, compensation, contracts, retention, and impact of attendance?
Okay, wait, say it again.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
I got it. So, after community impact.
No, but all you have to do is like, your group has to discuss like, what is the community impact of those?
Why don't I just demolish your name or anything? Yes. Who was over here?
Well, not just retention.
And then impact of attendance, all this.
Who's doing attendance and?
So we can give that to Agnes, special sauce.
All right,
Actually going to look
I
at
could-
this is.
somebody let her know.
Let me take a
Next
picture.
year, next year.
Somebody let her know.
I'll email her tomorrow.
Okay.
Hey, and FYI, a little birdie told me that North Side and the other large San Antonio districts are actually looking at going to 4-day weeks in the next, they've already got their calendars done for the next 2 years, but the third year, they could possibly be going, and that would be like 28.
If the state doesn't derail them. in the
Yeah,
meantime.
so just FYI, if you're gonna do it, you know, you might wanna consider that they're gonna be doing it in about 3 years, possibly.
And what,
Well,
what
we
about
wanna go forward with
Is
it.
that bad?
The big districts are gonna be doing
The
it.
big district's gonna be doing it, so teacher recruitment
Yeah.
is gonna be out the doors.
Sure. I would encourage everybody to listen to that Athens call or read the notes, cause it was really good information, and they talked about like the possibility of having to go back and, you know, but, anyway.
All right, so y'all, be a good meeting on the 28th. All right, Sid, do we have a motion to close the meeting? So moved. You got a motion, second?
For this field experience activity, I chose to lead a district education improvement committee meeting. The Divine DIC includes a teacher from each campus, parents, community members, business members, and administrators. Each campus elects the member who will serve a 2-year term. Parents, community, and business members are suggested and invited to join when there is an open seat on the committee. Throughout the year, the DEIC will meet to discuss the district improvement plan. The district improvement plan serves to guide Divine ISD towards the improvement of student performance for all of our students. The committee also meets to discuss and vote on school calendars. In preparation for the meeting, I met with our Director of Curriculum and Instruction who oversees the committee, and I also met with the current chairperson. We worked together to build the agenda for this particular meeting. My main goal for the meeting was to review feedback from campuses regarding the 2024-2025 instructional calendar draft A, and to take action to recommend a calendar draft or a calendar draft with adjustments that we could recommend to our Divine ISD School Board for their vote. I believe for me, the most important part of leading the meeting is keeping the meeting moving forward. As a leader, you want to make sure that everyone's voices are heard and give ample time to give information, but at the same time, you don't want the meeting to stall. During the part of the meeting where we did our middle of the year DIP evaluation, I wanted to make sure to give the groups enough time to make proper evaluation, but also wanted to make sure that we had time to share and give feedback. I felt the meeting went pretty smooth with no real surprises. I was anticipating a little bit more debate or discussion regarding the calendar draft, but everyone pretty much agreed to make that the committee recommendation. So that was a little surprising. The superintendent was present during the meeting and provided the committee with a superintendent report. I paid extra attention to the superintendent report as one day I may be in that role delivering a similar report to the DEIC. I didn't receive any specific feedback from our superintendent other than he felt I did a good job and he was glad that the meeting ended on time. Overall, I spent a couple of hours preparing for the meeting and about an hour and a half actually leading the meeting. I would love to lead a DEIC meeting again. I wholeheartedly believe in the purpose of our district improvement committee and feel that they do very important work. The field experience is one I would definitely recommend to other candidates preparing to be a superintendent. As a final reflection, I would say the meeting as a whole went well. I was prepared and the agenda helped everything go smoothly. Reflecting on what I can improve, I would say I need to slow down when I'm talking and be more intentional about what I'm saying. This experience was very valuable, and as administrator, I'll continue to attend DEIC meetings and lead them when possible.